Hello players, it's time to have that talk. NFTs and what it means for our games. This video is going to be in two halves. Well, it'd be weird if it was three halves. The first part, we're going to talk more generally about NFTs and what they are. And in the second half, we'll talk about what that means for our media and our games. Timestamps are below. NFT stands for non-fungible token. Well, that clears that up. Non-fungible in basic terms means that it's unique. It's the opposite of something like traditional cash. For example, if I loan you $5, you can repay that with any $5. It doesn't matter. I don't need exactly the same cash back. If you borrowed the Mona Lisa, you couldn't just replace that with any other painting. It's non-fungible. NFTs work on the Ethereum cryptocurrency blockchain, where along with the unique token, extra meta information can be stored. And it's within this extra information is where the details of whatever is attached to that token is stored. The actual item, whether that's artwork, a meme, 3D object, or an in-game item, is not stored here. It can't store data, only text that will point to the item. So an NFT will let you own something digital, which is unique. Sort of. The token itself is unique, but what it points to is data, which can be copied and pasted like any other data. So here's where it gets a bit grey. You're not really buying the item, but you are more buying ownership of work, like a certificate of authenticity saying that you own the original. But this doesn't mean that you are granted copyright to use. That would have to be negotiated separately with a traditional contract. Okay, that sounds great. So I can buy and sell limited prints digitally. The artist gets paid and the buyer gets a token that lasts forever, right? It lasts forever, right? In theory, yes. Practically, no. This is where NFTs start to fall apart. An NFT just points to something. This is usually a URL, a web address. There are some issues with that, which we'll get into in a minute. Or it can point to a number, which is something called a smart contract, but that still itself is just a number. The URL is one of the weakest links in the chain. The URL doesn't belong to you. Somebody has to pay for its renewal each year, or each 10 years. And while this is not a problem initially, you don't have control of that. If the link expires, it becomes dead and won't point to that cat meme anymore. And while you still will own the token, you will have no evidence of what it represents. And the same is true with hosting. The file has to be hosted somewhere and somebody has to pay for that. If a company goes bust, do you really think they're going to care about paying the hosting bill to keep your penguin online? No, not only that, the owner of the URL, which isn't you, can change what the URL is pointing to. Okay, so there is a solution for this, but it's not great. It's called the IPFS, the InterPlanetary File System. So far, only Earth has signed up. Like something out of Rick and Morty. Instead of a URL, you can have what's called an IPFS redirector, which is permanent. And a copy of your artwork can be saved on the IPFS. But the IPFS is basically just BitTorrent. It's the same technology. It requires seeders to keep your artwork online. No seeders and the link is dead again, which means a hard drive file somewhere in the world could potentially lose a whole bunch of artworks or whatever forever, and there will be dead links. There is a need for constant maintenance, and that is a major problem for NFTs that they need to solve to secure their longevity. The next issue with NFTs is, shockingly, authenticity. Anyone can mint anything as an NFT, and there are zero checks in place to ensure that it's the actual artist minting the NFT. I mean, you could mint this video right now, even though it belongs to me and YouTube. I'm powerless to stop that from happening. So the artwork that you're buying, and it might be and probably is stolen in the first place, it's built on a trust system, and obviously the internet is the best place for a trust system. Next is value. How much is an NFT worth? Well, there's no intrinsic value on any NFT. It's how much someone is willing to pay for it. It's 100% speculative value. Right, so let's imagine that all of those issues are solved. I mean, to be honest, they are pretty big issues and there's no real solution coming anytime soon. But let's imagine that they are solved. Let's talk about the proposed uses for NFTs. There's artwork, which we've already covered pretty well, and there's other uses as well, like DRM, software licensing, in-game purchases, and reselling digital products like games and videos. We'll start with DRM. One proposed use is to buy a license for music or a film and being able to play that media on any service that supports it. I mean, that sounds great for the consumer, but getting license holders to agree on anything between each other is next to impossible. I mean, if I buy, let's say I buy access to Snow White from Disney and I want to watch it on Netflix, it's all cool because I've got my NFT that says I own the license to watch it. But Disney and Netflix are both going to lose out. Now, Netflix has to stream a movie at a cost to them for bandwidth and infrastructure, which they get nothing for in return, so Netflix is out of pocket. And Disney, sure, they made that one-time sale for $15, let's say, but now I'm off their platform, and they don't want that. They want me to keep paying $7.99 a month, after month after month, forever. They want me to stay on their platform for as long as possible, and they don't really want me to take my digital purchase and run somewhere else. The other issue is that all parties need to sign up and agree. There's just no chance in hell that Disney is going to allow Netflix to host their entire back catalogue just so we can watch it with our NFTs. I've used Disney and Netflix as examples, but it would require every single video streaming platform to work together, each platform hosting and sharing each other's content. Yeah, good luck with that. I mean, the same extends to games. If I bought a game license as an NFT from Steam, why would Epic let me use that license on their platform? It just doesn't make any sense. Okay, so DRM is a no-go, but what about reselling your digital games and software? Right now, all software licenses, apart from open source and things like that, are non-transferable. But if your license was an NFT, you could easily resell it, right? Well, that would require the biggest media companies on the planet to change their licensing agreements and strategy. The very same licensing strategy that they have put in place to ensure maximum profits. They are going to hold on to that forever. They are not going to change that so you can put up an online yard sale of games that you don't play anymore. I mean, why would they let you resell your games when they could just make another sale instead? But with NFTs, you can collect commissions on every resale, and that money could go back to the developer. But again, why would they want commission, which is a percentage over another full game sale? They don't, is the answer. And if they really wanted you to be able to resell your own games, they have had the technical ability to be able to do that for decades already. You don't need NFTs for that. Now, in-game items. Let's imagine you could buy, I don't know, the Hat of Common Sense as an NFT in World of Warcraft. Being able to resell that to other players might have an advantage to the developer if they collect a commission on it. If it's a rare item, it could be sold hundreds of times, each time earning money for the devs. So that's great and everybody wins. You own that hat and it's yours forever until WoW goes offline and then it's useless. And it loses all its value. But wait, it's an NFT, I can just transfer it into another game. Sure, but only if the developer of game B, 1, has NFT support, and 2, coded support for your items. If those items are copyrighted in any way, they won't even legally be allowed to be included in the new game. And if they really wanted you to be able to resell your in-game items, they have had the technical ability to be able to do that for decades already. Don't need NFTs for that. What about NFT Based Games, the play to earn? They will be terrible. Stay away. They will be a boring grind fest with useful items being out of reach for most people, and the only way to progress will be by spending a ton of money or selling rare items that you do have to somebody just getting started. It'll be the online equivalent of Herbalife. Steam have banned all NFT games on their platform, and I really can't see any NFT games making their way to consoles. So in summary, NFTs have no physical value and only exist to create artificial scarcity and speculative value. Is that good or bad? Well, that's for you to decide, but it's bad. Are NFTs the future? Remember, the future doesn't have to be good. Sound off in the comments. And for further reading, I recommend checking out this video from a game developer on NFTs. He's worked on some pretty big things, and that's definitely worth a watch. But until next time, keep playing and be excellent to each other. And the only way to progress will be Be bye, be bye, be bye, be bye. Be bye, be bye, be bye.